Right from the beginning, Ron Lawton's obsession has been with Shiraz, and he spent a lot of time travelling around Victoria looking for the ideal site. Ron, what made you pick Heathcote?
What made me pick Heathcote? Basically, the search for the correct site for any variety includes climate and soils, of course, and for Shiraz I needed a certain degree of warmth.
Right.
So I ultimately chose the inland slopes of
Yes.
the Great Dividing Range in Victoria to give me that warmth and sunniness, but I also wished to grow Shiraz without irrigation. That was one of the prime requirements, and so I needed a depth of soil. Here in Heathcote I found that.
Ron, you mentioned that climatic factors were pretty important in your consideration of site selection. So what factors played a role in selecting Heathcote?
Heathcote as an area is neither too hot nor too cold, basically.
Right. Uh-huh.
It seems to be ideally suited to Shiraz.
Yes.
I know it's okay to say that now because we've proven that, but in the early days the search led me here basically because the heat summation for the region is about the same as Côte-Rôtie and Hermitage in France.
Right, really? Yeah.
In other words, it's not too hot and it's not too cold.
Right.
And we do get ripe Shiraz grapes, and as I say, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. We've proven it now. The elevation is reasonable here as well. We're at 330 metres, 1,000 feet, and so that moderates the temperature also.
Right.
Microclimate also has, or mesoclimate we should use, is very particular here as well, and so you don't have to go too far north from here and get onto the flat country, and it certainly is a lot warmer.
Okay.
But no, it's very adequate.
Jasper Hill's vineyard is planted on Cambrian soils, which are, they say, around about 500 million years old, and probably the oldest soils on Earth. Can you tell us a little bit about the soils that your vines are planted on?
Most certainly. That's the other half of the equation of why we came here, basically, because I had this prime requirement of growing Shiraz grapes without irrigation. The rainfall here is just adequate, and so I really needed a great depth of soil for the vine roots to explore, to have adequate water supply during the growing season if they were going to be unirrigated. And so here in Heathcote we do have these Cambrian soils that are very, very unusual for Australia. They're 3 to 4 metres deep.
Right.
So that gives me the conditions for non-irrigated vines.
Yes, right.
Now the soils themselves are derived from Cambrian rock.
Right.
It's not volcanic in any way. Basically here in Heathcote we have a happy coincidence that there are a couple of north-south faults, basically running parallel to each other. They're only about 1 kilometre apart at the widest, and for 500 to 600 million years we've had these two faults virtually rubbing.
Is that right?
And pulverising the soil, pulverising the rock into soil, and it's uplifted and exposed in little pockets along the valley here.
In your search for the perfect site, I believe you stumbled across a piece of real estate that was owned by an Italian bulldozer driver, and he happened to have planted Shiraz and Cabernet Franc, and that was a pretty lucky day for you, wasn't it?
Well, it was a great coincidence. One of those, is it fate? I'd centred on Heathcote as a region to plant in, and basically I'd stopped one Saturday morning to look at a real estate agent's window, and in small writing was a vineyard for sale, and I came out and had a look at it immediately, and in fact the bulldozer driver's wife has only just last week finished picking. I was part of our picking team with us, and we were talking about this happy meeting on the first day. So it was virtually a foregone conclusion from then on. The bulldozer driver had basically planted it for his own home winemaking.
Yes.
And his wife even admitted and conceded last week that yes, it needed a bit of extra expertise to bring it to its world famous state now.